A few things I want to talk about today, and I just thought I'd go through a few topics. I'm thinking that instead of the US wanting to invade China, maybe they should consider invading Italy, because a surge study suggests that COVID-19 was present in Italy in December 2019. A new study released Friday by the Italian National Institute of Health suggests that COVID-19 was present in northern Italy 2 months before the first case was detected. Wastewater samples taken from Milan and Turin in December revealed traces of the virus, according to the report. Other places around the world have begun to look at wastewater samples to better understand COVID-19 and how it is spreading. Now, I wanted to add to that. So, we won't hear that probably much in the mainstream media, because that's an inconvenient fact. And that sort of, because also the mainstream media want to vilify China, and they're lock in step with Trump on sort of pushing that anti-Chinese thing and wanting to, I don't know what they want to do to China and blaming them for the pandemic, but that's inconvenient, and so we won't hear much about that. And by the way, I was going to do a video on this topic, but just in case you're not aware, vitamin D is very important for in relation to not only COVID-19, because it reduces the mortality rate if you have good levels in your system of vitamin D. And I'm not just talking about getting sunshine, because there's been I've mentioned this before, and it's been going on now for at least a decade that I know of. But there's been a global D deficiency, D for David, D deficiency, which has been leading to all sorts of serious diseases like cancer and diabetes and a whole host of other diseases. And somebody I know who was getting plenty of sun it was discovered that she had a major deficiency, and it was dangerously low. And the Cancer Council at one point was putting out the information that that you can be very susceptible to cancer if you have very low D levels. Recent science suggests that you can also, if you're D deficient, you can be very susceptible to COVID-19, meaning that you will possibly die from it if you contract it. The mortality levels are high, and when people are D deficient, and that would mean that anyone who has high melanin levels in their skin, which means black people and people with very brown skin, that they are probably D deficient, which would explain to some degree why black people are dying at a much higher rate than white people. Of course, you have to add in the poverty and the poverty that's caused by structural racist policies and the poor health outcomes due to poverty. But I would also think that black people having very low levels of vitamin D in their system would contribute to the high mortality rate. So that's something we need to pass around if you're not aware of it already. But as I said, somebody close to me had dangerously low levels of vitamin D in their system, even though they were getting plenty of sun. Now, I'm not sure why that is, but I think that's fairly common. And interestingly, according to reports, countries that have low light, like some of the, I think Sweden and places like that, where they don't have a lot of sun, and here in Tasmania it's the same thing. We have a very short summer, and oftentimes, it's fairly soft sunlight most of the time. And so there's actually widespread diabetes in Tasmania, and I don't think that's just because people are overweight or whatever, or they're eating a lot of animal products, although animal products definitely contribute to diabetes because it actually creates insulin resistance. The fat in animal products creates insulin resistance in the muscles. That's something you don't hear very often, and that's why it's so weird when doctors don't sort of say to their patients that maybe you should knock off dairy and knock off, animal products in general because of the insulin resistance that the fat causes in the muscle. But there you go. That's the attachment that the medical profession have to animal products. They eat them themselves, a lot of them. So anyway, but back to vitamin D. And I had very low vitamin D at one stage as well. So it's and I supplement, with vegan vitamin D3. You can get vegan vitamin D3. I'm vegan, so I'm not going to be having the vitamin D that is on the market. It's actually sourced from sheep. So I do my best to avoid consuming animal products wherever possible. So anyway, I started supplementing about 10 years ago with vitamin D, and I take about 1,000 units a day. And in winter, probably a little bit more than that. And I think that probably covers me. I'm taking a bit more than that at present. It's winter, and also it's an important preventative to help if I get COVID-19. Hopefully the vitamin D will prevent me from dying to some degree. It has very, very protective effects. So that's something that a lot of black people need to know about vitamin D. That's something I just wanted to throw in there. I might do a separate video about this, or this may be the video, I'm not sure. I was just going to touch on these various topics. So please, even if you think you get a lot of sun, consider having your levels taken, your blood levels taken of vitamin D. But even if it's okay, think about supplementing with vegan vitamin D3. And there's plenty of different brands available now, much more than there was 10 years ago, because it's not only will it be protective against the high mortality rates. It might protect you against if you end up in hospital, that you may not die from it, but also it's protective against diabetes and cancer and other things. So search online and have a look at some of the articles. It's all science-based, this information. Now, I want to just talk about this just a little bit about Australia and the government here, which is run by Scott Morrison and the Coalition, which is a right-wing. They're a right-wing authoritarian wannabes. And one of the 14 characteristics of fascism is disdain for the arts and humanities. And so our government here wants to make the arts and humanities, wants to charge. We have these HEX fees, which people pay after the fact, after they do their degree, and it's usually a lot less than the United States, but still. And you have to make a certain amount of money before you have to pay. You have to be pulling in a certain amount as a wage before you are required to pay it back. But they're making it now so that the arts and humanities are going to be double the cost of other courses. And that to me just indicates the sort of contempt that the Australian government has for. They really are authoritarian wannabes. It's just one of many, many things. Their Islamophobia, their racist policies. It's a mess, really. Something else that was interesting that I saw today from Tulsa, Oklahoma, was this woman who was protesting against, protesting for Black Lives Matter, and she went along to this event, and she had a T-shirt on, and it had "I Can't Breathe." I'll see if I can show you the little video, and it was ridiculous. The cops arrested her. She was sitting on the floor, and she had this T-shirt on, "I Can't Breathe." She bought a ticket to this event. I'm not exactly sure what the event was. I don't know if it was a Trump event or some sort of event, obviously, where they didn't want any reminders of the Black Lives Matter thing, and she had "I Can't Breathe" on her T-shirt, and they dragged her off. These three burly cops so dragged her off. This is just sort of neo-fascist stuff. Here they are going on about what a wonderful democracy they have. My behind a wonderful democracy and freedom of speech. How important it is for freedom of speech. No, it's not. It's only important in certain cases which fit in with the establishment narrative, and other forget anything else. And the way they have been censoring, which I've mentioned in my most recent video about Wikipedia, and Ben Norton was talking about how Wikipedia is relegated to the grey zone, which is a wonderful left alternative news source, has relegated it to the same level as the Epoch Times, which is a Falun Gong funded rag that just promotes anti-Chinese propaganda. You would think actually that they would like that at this point, but apparently, they post a lot of kind of really sort of out there stuff. So the grey zone's been put in that same level. It's actually the red level. And guess what is the green level on Wikipedia? It's the Weekly Standard, which is owned, I think, by Bill Kristol, who's a neocon from the Project for the New American Century, which helped get us into the war on Iraq. He's an incredible warmonger who doesn't like Trump because I think Trump is not a good salesperson for Empire. That's the only reason he doesn't like him. But this is what the Wikipedia thinks is the best source, news source, the Weekly Standard, just a neocon propaganda pusher. So that gives you an idea about Wikipedia. Never ever think that Wikipedia is some sort of is sort of actually community run. It's got a very, very tight band of editors that go in and regularly edit leftist personalities like Abby Martin and Max Blumenthal and George Galloway, those sort of people. There's one called Philip Cross who literally works, all day, every day, editing hourly on George Galloway's page and Abby Martin. He might need more than one person, but they go in and they put all sorts of crap on their pages. So Wikipedia is just this is just yet another propaganda rag. They're, for the U.S. empire in the end. So, it's getting incredibly sad. Not that I had much faith in Wikipedia a few years ago, but now you get a really good idea of how far gone it is. One last thing which I thought was very funny, was Max Blumenthal on Twitter had posted something. I couldn't find the actual tweet. I'll see if I can find it. It was having a go at, I don't know I can't remember what it was, but Trump actually retweeted it. And so Erin Mattei suggested to Max to change his profile tag to various things. And so Max was going for all he was worth to, he actually at one point had defund the police. So with Trump's retweet, for the heading of it was defund the police, and then another one was arrest Pompeo and send him to the International Crimes Court. That was another profile Max changed his profile to, and he did that. Numerous sort of headings like that were very leftist. And so here's Trump having retweeted Max Blumenthal's tweet, and every sort of 10 minutes or so, if the page was refreshed, there would be a different message. It was just great. Anyway, so I thought that was really wonderful. I wished I'd seen it. He did various lefty things, and the next thing people were talking about it, Trump and Max Blumenthal together, and thought that there was some sort of a connection there. So anyway, that's very interesting. I thought that was funny, and I wish that I'd seen it. I wish that I hope somebody's actually saved those retweets of Trump with the various headings like defund the police. I don't know if you caught it. But anyway, that was all I really wanted to talk about. There wasn't really much at the present time. There's lots of things to talk about, but that'll do for now. So thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notifications bell. Otherwise, you won't receive notifications when I drop a video. And please think about clicking the end stage of this video where it has suggestions. It helps raise the profile of different channels if you actually click some of the end videos at the end of each video, and it helps with the click-through rate, and that helps elevate channels to get more sort of airing and more as a suggested channel or suggested video. So I'd appreciate that if you could. So thanks so much for watching. My name's Trish Roberts. Till next time. Bye for now.